going, everybody? It's Shinigami here to bring you another continuation of Disney's downfall. Now, doesn't bring me much pleasure. Well, technically, I had some pleasure earlier, but that's besides the point. This does not bring pleasure to have to announce this stuff. Now, some of the people in the YouTube sphere, the ones that I've been kind of watching for the past few years now, you've got the Nerdrotics, the Geeks and Gamers. I'd even say like Benny Johnson, Vera Dark, a lot of these people that are bringing up into light how anti-consumer some of these companies have been, and especially somebody like Disney, who could do so much better if they just hired the actual qualified talent. Instead, they're hiring based off of color. Now, some would say, well, they're not racist because they're trying to avoid white people. Nope, it's still racist. How about we just jump into it so you can take a listen? We got ourselves here. God, I already forgot his fucking name. Hold up. Name. James O'Keefe. There you go. So let's take a listen from the man himself. Well, interview that they did.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
how would they say it?
There's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
like straight to you, or okay?
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
According to these videotapes, Disney blatantly discriminates against whites, white men in particular.
And again, this is not a condonable practice, right? You're gonna get yourself in a hot mess just by doing this kind of crap. And obviously there's been some people that have been anonymously telling the people like Nerdrotic and Film Threat, Chris Gore, stuff like that, where it's just like, hey, we're kind of in a position we can't really speak out, otherwise we'll lose our jobs. But this stuff is happening, right? You guys remember the male and pale is stale? Yeah, that's been a code word they've been using for the past few years now in Hollywood, right? And then obviously with them pushing that forward, where we're not hiring these white people. That's why you see a lot less white leads, right? Whatever. And the whole thing that they push is like, oh, we got diversity, right? We got diversity here. All right, well, let's take a listen on how that diversity works.
I think I'm sort of like well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male, and that's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
As a white guy, even Michael has his own doubts about the possibility for advancement for himself at Disney. In fact, Michael actually got to experience Disney's discrimination against white males firsthand.
I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for the job. They're just not. That's not what they want.
They even passed over a qualified half-black person for a promotion.
And this is where it gets really spicy, where guess what? Now you don't even match the description of what we're looking for, which might give a little bit of a reason why Mandela Stenberg had such an outburst the way she did against the fans. Obviously, for the majority of the audience on the internet, they've just been like, the fuck are you doing? Why would you insult your fans like that? But with the push and the pressure they have from their executive overlords, I'm sure that's where this dynamic has started to seep in a little bit more and more to the actors and actresses.
Because they didn't look black enough.
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, we're not, that's not what's going on. They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting. I mean, it kind of feels like we're, at some point there's going to be a lawsuit. That's kind of how it feels, just because of, you know.
And that is a lawyer talking. So how does Disney explain pushing these discriminatory practices? They use code words and buzzwords.
Also, just to note, you notice how his waiter was black, and while he was saying all that stuff, kind of gave him the side eye, like, what the fuck are you talking about, boy? It's just like, that sounds fucked up. Like, because you don't fit the mold, guess what? You're out. You don't get the job, you don't get the position, you don't have the opportunity. When people like Amanda Stenberg hand it to them on a silver platter. Oh, that doesn't seem very fair, now does it? No, it doesn't.
I'm guessing that there is a acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, you know, look, we're not looking at like the usual suspects for this job. You know, so it's like not like a legally actionable thing. But everybody knows what it means. They, you know, for writers and actors, you hear all the time, like, you know, looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. And I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
So, all in all, this has definitely hit a fever pitch with Disney. Now, they're not the only companies doing this. I'm sure you can see this across the board with Universal, Warner Brothers, the BBC, obviously, that's one of the biggest ones with the Doctor Who. And you see how this virus has taken a hold of so many good properties in the name of diversity, where they claim that, you know, we're still making good money off of this. Where through BlackRock and all these other ESG companies, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, especially when the bottom line from other investors are complaining about, hey, why are we losing money? Why is, you know, just alone like Disney, their share in stock right now is under $100. It's been sitting there for a good while, all because investors don't feel confident putting their money in a company that keeps losing money, especially if you look at 2023 in the box office. They had flop after flop after flop, right? You had Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, then you had Lightyear, then you also had Wish. And, sorry, another one, The Marvels. 4 fucking films from 4 of their studios. Lucasfilm, Pixar, Disney Animation, and then Marvel. They all did not make money. Now, you can say maybe that's a little bit because of the streaming site, but you got to think a little bit more about it. Like, is it really because of that, or because they actively were pushing the main demographic away? Oh, these racist and sexist, we don't want you to come watch our movie, show, whatever. Okay, guess what? We won't. And the evidence is in the pudding. That clear as day that they didn't show up, where all these TikTokers and other little influential videos are just like, well, this thing was great and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, if so many of y'all are praising it, where is that revenue? Because I don't see it. The main people that were spending the money on that ain't spending on that no more. Yeah, so Disney is on a downward trajectory, all because guess what? You're not black enough. You don't fit the mold. We're not hiring white people right now, even if they might have the qualifications. That's why you got people like Robert Meyer Burnett and other talented people that used to work for these big companies, and now instead they're working with people like Eric July, helping them make their own comics and other stories that they want to push, right? It just seems very tone deaf right now, especially when in a landslide, in a landscape where the independent creator has more freedom and ability to actually reach a wider audience than these big companies. Why? It takes them longer to pivot and change their direction on their plans, whereas these other people, they could change it damn near immediately. They hear the criticism, they hear the feedback, and they're just like, okay, well, we'll do this differently, okay? seems to be working out for the indie developers, indie creators and stuff like that. Not so much for the big companies. But let me know what y'all think down below. Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Oh God. Yeah. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Is this overblown? Do you think it's about time they finally were getting mentioned in something as big as this? The fact that Elon tweeted it, right? It has eyes on it now. So we'll hear more about this in the coming week. But for now, that's the video I got for you. Let me know if you enjoyed it. If not, give it a like, dislike, whatever the fuck, comment, follow, all the fun stuff. And with that being said, we will catch you guys in the next one. Good night, good morning, good evening. Shinigami signing out. Bye.